Hare Rama, Hare Hare. Gaur Premanandi. You're all on time.
find this from Chaitanya Charitamrita. As Balaram is to Krishna, Nityananda is to Lord Chaitanya. And Balaram unto Krishna, he is the Adi Guru, that is, he's the giver of Krishna to others. He likes to serve Krishna, he likes to give Krishna to others. And Nityananda does the same.
We'll hear some more. Who is he representing? Here's the altar in Sridham Mayapur. And let's say the Panchatattva mantra together. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhar, Shivas Adi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. So it looks like this is a photograph on Nityananda's appearance day, because see the effulgence around Lord Nityananda. Here's a close-up of that effulgence of Lord Nityananda. And in Vrindavan, there's Lord Nityananda and Lord Chaitanya, and a close-up of Lord Nityananda. And here's the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda, Nitai Pada Kamala. Here's from that song, Brajendra Nandaraye Sachi Sutta Hoilo Se Balaram Hoilo Nitai. Krishna has come as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the son of Mother Sachi, and Balaram has come as Lord Nityananda. You see in the center there's Krishna Balaram, and the outside is Nityananda and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So this is another image showing the same. There's Krishna, Balaram, and Vrindavan above, and the deities of Lord Nityananda and Lord Chaitanya similarly. We're going to go through these key verses from Adi-lila Chaitanya Charitamrita, starting with number 2, and then we're going to skip over to 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Because it gives us the tattva of Lord Nityananda. Bande Krishna Chaitanya Nityanandao Sahoditao Godo Daye Prabhavantao Chitrao San Dao Tamo Nudao. I offer my respectful obeisances unto Sri Krishna Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda, who are like the sun and the moon. They have risen simultaneously on the horizon of Goda to dissipate the darkness of ignorance and thus bestow wonderfully benediction, wonderfully bestow benediction upon all. So this is the very second verse of the whole Chaitanya Charitamrita. And after some verses describing Lord Chaitanya come the verses describing Lord Nityananda. Because of time, I'm just going to go through the translation. May Nityananda, Sri Nityananda Ram, be the object of my constant remembrance. Sankarshana, Sheshanag, and the Vishnus who lie on the Karna ocean, Garbha ocean, and ocean of milk are his plenary portions. That's Sankarshan and Sheshanag. And the Vishnus are his portions of his plenary portions. Kala. Sheshas, Cha, Yes, Yasya, Angsha. That's his portions, and then his portions of the portions. So they're expansions of Lord Nityananda, Nityananda Ram. Next verse, text 8. I surrender unto the lotus feet of Sri Nityananda Ram, who is known as Sankarshan in the midst of the Chaturvyuha consisting of Vasudeva, Sankarshan, Pradumna, and Aniruddha. He possesses full opulences and resides in Vaikuntha Loka far beyond the material creation. Nityananda Ram. Text 9. I offer my full obeisances unto the feet of Sri Nityananda Ram, whose partial representation, called Karanadakshayi Vishnu, lying on the Karna ocean, is the original Purusha, the master of the illusory energy and the shelter of all universes. Nityananda Ram. Next one, text 10. I offer my full obeisances unto the feet of Sri Nityananda Ram, a partial part of whom is Garbhodakshayi Vishnu. From the navel of Garbhodakshayi Vishnu sprouts the lotus. That is the birthplace of Brahma, the engineer of the universe. The stem of that lotus is the resting place of multitude of planets. And there's one more remaining. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the feet of Sri Nityananda Ram, whose secondary part is the Vishnu lying on the ocean of milk. That Shirodakshayi Vishnu is the supersoul of all living entities and the master of all the universes. Shesha, Nag, is his further subpart. Now, we could spend hours going over, expanding on these verses, but that's not what I'm going to do. Another time, maybe. We're going to speak something about his life and the place of his appearance is photographed here. The Nityananda Janmastan. What's the name of the place? Ekachakra. Who has been to Ekachakra? Who would like to go to Ekachakra? Sometime we'll go to Ekachakra. Wouldn't that be nice? We just need more time to do all the things. It's nice, and we'll be able to do them all. So here's a photograph of the place where he took his birth. And when you go inside that place, Garbhavas, when you go inside that place, here's what you see. There's a deity of Lord Nityananda inside. And by the other side is another altar where there's the three, but notice Nityananda is in the middle. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is to his left or to our right, and Advaita Charya is to his right or our left. So same, Chaitanya, Nityananda, Advaita. And on the far right side, it's the same deity, but standing alone with his arms outstretched, a mudra of giving. Giving, he gives the holy name for the right price. And again, same deities. The birthplace of Lord Nityananda. Of course, because it's just the three Vishnu Tattva forms, he's in the center. And when he made his appearance, it was a big ceremony. We're not going to go through everything. But he, in his child, born in a Brahmin family, Hadai Pandit, or Hadai Oja, two names that his father was known by. And his whole childhood, he was not the super scholar Lord Nityananda, he was the very playful Nityananda, or Nimai. And what he did, there's a whole long section, practically a full chapter of Chaitanya Bhagavat, of the pastimes that he would enact. And in detail and detail and detail and detail, and the adults would watch the children play, and he knew all these details of Lord Ramachandra. That's what this illustration is with the bows, because he, Nityananda, is Lakshmana in Ram-lila. Correct? And this Yes. Lakshmana is to Lord Ramachandra as Nityananda is to Lord Chaitanya, as Balaram is to Krishna. Okay, just checking. So he performed pastimes exactly according to how they happened with all the boys, and the boys were mesmerized being with Nitai, and they asked him, the parents asked him, where'd you learn these things? And he said, these are my pastimes. And Krishna's pastimes, details, elaborate. And he lived this way for 12 years. And during those 12 years, one day he found these deities. There's a stream that's it's a tributary of the Jamuna called Kadamba Kandi, a tributary of the Ganges that runs through Ekachakra. And one day while playing, he found the deity of Banka Roy. As you see, the name Banka means crooked. Because Krishna was in a threefold bending form, but also very playful. In that sense, crooked, Banka Roy. And that was his personal deity from childhood. He was a Brahmana boy, and he worshipped Banka Roy. You will hear at the end, remember this photograph, because his pastimes ended by entering into the deity. He went into the temple where the deity was worshipped, he closed the door and didn't come out. So very dear to him, these deities. And after 12 years, a very significant event happened. One Brahmin, because Ekachakra at that time was a place where there were many, many, many Brahmanas. It was a village of Brahmanas. Some places are like that. And then particularly it was a headquarters of Brahmanism. One Brahmana mendicant and made a request of Hadai Pandit. He said, I want to make a... Can I have some water? Got that problem again, my voice is shut. You see from the drawing, the mendicant that came was a sannyasi. Hadai Pandit was a Grahastha Brahmana, and he knew the culture. When a sannyasi comes, you offer him whatever he would like. And he made the request, please give me your son. I want him to travel with me. And so, with great reluctance, he did. There's a beautiful description as the mendicant was traveling down the road. This is a photograph of the road leading to Ekachakra. They watched as they disappeared off in the distance and felt who knows what emotions, transcendental separation from Nitai. For the next 8 years, he was with this sannyasi, and then after some time, he traveled on his own, and he went to many, many places. There's a whole long chapter describing the places he went through the whole of India, up, down, sideways, east, west, north, south. And one of the places he went to was Pandharpur, celebrated for the home of Vittala. And while there, warm water. I was hoping we'd get some warm water. No. He received Diksha. The person from whom he received Diksha was the guru of Madhavendra Puri, which means Lord Nityananda and Madhavendra Puri were godbrothers. Obviously, Nityananda was younger, but the same guru. And after receiving Diksha from Lakshmipati Tirtha, his travels continued. This is just a quick gloss. And you can read Chaitanya Bhagavat and Chaitanya Charitamrita to get the details, but this isn't, we're not doing details because of time. One of the places that he went, some of you have been to Vrindavan, and those that have been to Vrindavan, you may recall where Shringarvat, also known as Nityanandavat, this is a photograph of the place where he stayed. From this place, he went out and about in Vrindavan. Now remember, from when his childhood, he already knew the pastimes of Krishna, because they were his pastimes, Balaram, Krishna, Balaram. So he was quite familiar with the transcendental abode of Krishna, and this is where he stayed. It's very near to Imlital. You've heard of Imlital? It's very near to Imlital, very close, by the side of the river Jamuna. And he also spent some time at Radhakund. And this is the sitting place of Lord Nityananda at the side of Radhakund. As we know, Radhakund wasn't even found yet formally, because Lord Chaitanya later identified this is Radhakund, but he also knew. And he sat at this place, their sitting place is there. So after 8 years, so 12 plus 8 is how much? 12 plus 8. 20. Good. You're good at math, right? At the age of 20, the two lords met. Now, it's specifically said in his biography that he, Lord Nityananda, although he was initiated by Lakshmipati Tirtha, he didn't give the holy name until after he met Lord Chaitanya, because that was Lord Chaitanya's mission, was to revive the chanting of the holy name. He, Lord Nityananda, immediately took part in the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya. This is in Shivasanga, where they're having ecstatic kirtan. And one of the first things after Lord Nityananda arrived was Chaitanya Mahaprabhu instructed that Abhishek be performed for Nityananda. And very elaborate description, nice little sketch, little drawing here. But it's honoring Guru. And after this wonderful event, the next event was engaging Lord Nityananda in his Sankirtan movement. And Lord Chaitanya instructed Nityananda and Haridas, I'll just read, "Make my command known everywhere. Go from house to house and beg from all the residents, please, chant Krishna's name, worship Krishna, and teach others to follow Krishna's instructions. Do not speak or cause anyone to speak anything other than this." Being the order carrier of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Nityananda did exactly that. Of course, he was very playful, so he did a few other things. One of the things that he would do was he'd go for a bath in the Ganges, and even when there was a place where there was known there was crocodiles, you see the person on the shore calling out, "Look out, here come the crocodiles." He would see the crocodiles and splash them with water and tell them to chant Hare Krishna. It doesn't say that they chanted Hare Krishna, but that's what he did. And he went here and he went there, and in house to house, and in the public forum. And you know the pastime. At one point in time, he, Nityananda, came to know of two brahmanas that had become degraded. And their names were? Jagai Madai. You know, you just were checking to see if we know. Right? Jagai Madai? Okay. And because Lord Nityananda was thinking, if these two drunkards, wild men, meat eaters, fallen brahmanas, swearing, cursing, pulling each other's hair and stealing and crazy, if they become Vaishnavas, the glory of Lord Chaitanya will be known by everyone, because everybody knows these two fellows, they're wild men. And so he went right up to them and did exactly what Lord Chaitanya said. And they were wild. And we know what they did. One of the two brothers, being in a drunken state, picked up a clay pot and threw the clay pot and hit Nityananda in the head. And as you see from the painting, his head started to bleed. And what did Lord Nityananda do? That's okay, chant Hare Krishna, chant Hare Krishna. Lord Chaitanya heard and understood that Lord Nityananda has been hit. So he came, as you can see from the painting, he has his right hand raised, because on his right hand is his Sudarshan chakra, and he's going to chop these two. And Lord Nityananda intervened and begged him, in this incarnation you don't come to kill the demons, you come to deliver the demon. Please deliver these two brothers. On the plea of Lord Nityananda to forgive the offenders, Lord Chaitanya agreed on the one condition, that they fall at Lord Nityananda's feet, beg his forgiveness, and never commit these abominable activities again. Which choice would you take? They were going to be chopped or become purified. So they became purified, and although Lord Chaitanya didn't ask them to do that, one of the things that these two now reformed brothers did was they made a bathing ghat, because along the side of the river Ganga, there are places where persons who come to take bath in the Ganga can walk down some steps, enter into the Ganga, take their bath, and come back up. So there's this Jagai Madhai Ghat. that they created, and they stood on either side with folded palms as people would come to take their bath, sacred bath in the Ganges, to appeal to them with folded palms, please forgive us for all of our offenses. Because offending Vaishnavas is serious business, isn't it? Not something to be taken lightly. And Lord Nityananda, then he's celebrated for this act of bringing about the deliverance. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did it, but following the lead of Lord Nityananda. So they became great Vaishnavas. From Brahmanas to fallen Brahmanas to great Vaishnavas by the mercy of Lord Nityananda. And nice painting. They had kirtan and more kirtan and more kirtan. The Sankirtan of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu began in Navadvip, and after some time, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu informed Lord Nityananda of a plan. And his plan was he was going to take sannyas. And the one crying, that's Lord Nityananda, because he thought that means being separated from Lord Chaitanya. And he tried to persuade him, didn't work, he's going to take sannyas. And so Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, wanted to inform, according to the biographies, a handful of people of his plan before he took sannyas. And one of those places that he went was Ambika Kalna. This is a photograph of the entrance to the temple of Gauridas Pandit, his home, but his temple. And when they informed Gauridas had a very interesting relationship with Lord Chaitanya. He said, you can't do this. You can't take sannyas. I'll be unable to maintain my life. All of your loving devotees will be unable to maintain your life. You can't do this. You'll kill too many people. You can't do this. So Lord Chaitanya said, here's what I'll do. Because you have such attachment for me, I'll manifest two forms. The forms, this is the first deities of Gaurnitai being worshipped in Lord Chaitanya's pastimes. He manifested these two forms. And it's a long story, making it short because it's going to be late night anyways. Gauridas said, very well, when I see this form, I'll see you, and you're telling me the form is not different than you, then let's make a deal. You can stay and the deities can go. Lord Chaitanya smiled, nodded, said, okay. So the deities got off the altar and started walking out the gate. And Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda stood on the altar in their place. And Gauridas was bewildered. He said, no, that's okay. They'll stay and you can go. So they started to go and back forth a few times, and then he understood the deities, these deities are non-different. And to this day, they're worshipped very, very beautiful. Notice, on the slide it says, Gauridas Pandit had a brother. Suryadas Sarakale was his brother, and later Lord Nityananda became the husband of his two daughters. So remember the name, Suryadas Sarakale. So here's another photograph of the deities. They have a very interesting garland on their head. And here's another photograph, very, very photogenic deities and very beautiful deities. So time passed, and the handful of persons that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had informed of his intention to take sannyas came with him. They went to Katwa. Maybe we'll go to Katwa one day. I've been there many times with yatras. And in the painting, is the barber, Madhu the barber. And Madhu was given the assignment to cut Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's hair, and he couldn't do it. He couldn't do it. Finally he did it, and he began weeping and weeping because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had very long, beautiful hair. There's a samadhi of Madhu in Katwa, and they say there's a samadhi of his hair next to the samadhi of Madhu the barber. Although so long, there's, who knows what's in that samadhi. And this painting is meant to show Keshava Bharati became the sannyas guru of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And he gave him from Nimai, he gave him a name that's from the impersonal school, Chaitanya. And so later he became Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. After sannyas, many things happened. One of the things that happened was Lord Nityananda tricked Lord Chaitanya because his mood was, I want to go to Vrindavan and be with Krishna. So for 3 days they traveled. Conveniently, Lord Nityananda kept giving him the wrong directions. And eventually they ended up at the house of Advaita Acharya in Shantipur. Mother Sachi came by Advaita Acharya's invitation. She appealed to her son, please don't go to Vrindavan. I may never hear of you again. My husband has died. My 6 sons died shortly after. The elder son, he's taken sannyas, and you are the only thing left, and you're going to Vrindavan. Please don't go to Vrindavan. Go to Puri. Because Krishna is in Puri also. And if you go to Puri, because the devotees from Bengal, they go annually to Rath Yatra. So they go, they'll give news of you, and at least they'll hear of you, so please go to Puri. So he agreed. It's a transcendental pastime. On their way, from a northerly direction heading to Puri, going in a southerly direction. As they were approaching Puri some distance away, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted to cross a little river. Here's a painting of his crossing of that river. You see him on the far left side to go to a Shiva temple, the Varnareka River. And he gave his danda to Lord Nityananda and said, please hold my danda, I'm going to go across the river and go see the Lord Shiva temple. Well, you know what happened next? It shows in the painting, he broke the danda. He had a little conversation with the danda. Who do you think you are? Dry wood. And you're going to be in the hand of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, forget it. And he broke it in 3 pieces and threw it in the river. Transcendental madman. This is a drawing of the same pastime. The discussion is a nice discussion. And any one of these things we could spend some time, but we don't have the time. We're just going to keep going with Lord Nityananda. There's the Taranala bridge, a celebrated bridge. When Lord Chaitanya came back from seeing the deity of Lord Shiva, he asked Lord Nityananda, where's my danda? He said, oh, in a swoon of ecstasy you fell on the danda and it broke. He lied. And I threw it in the river. And if you cannot forgive me, then you can punish me whatever you feel is appropriate. He said, yes. I have only one possession, my water pot, which is in my hand, and my danda, and you lost my danda, broke my danda. So I'm not going to travel with you anymore. So in the distance you see the dome of the Jagannath temple. You go first, and I'll come separate from you. Or I'll go first, and you come separate from me, but I'm not going to travel with you anymore. No, you can go. And so, in this way, by this pastime, many details of commentary on all of this, the mood of Lord Nityananda towards Lord Chaitanya, etc., etc. Lord Chaitanya entered the Jagannath temple in a swoon of ecstasy. He fainted. There was this exchange with Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, and many nice things happened. Later, Lord Nityananda and his associates came. Lord Nityananda went right up on the altar and embraced the deity of Lord Balaram. And the two lords spent some time together in Puri. After some time passed, staying together in Puri, Lord Chaitanya informed Lord Nityananda, I have this vision of you. I'd like you to become married. That means separation from you, please. No, that's just how I see you. And so off he went, back to Ambika Kalna to become married to the two daughters of Suryadas Sarakale, who is the brother of Gauridas Pandit. And a wedding took place. There's details, big, it was a big event. Nityananda, the two daughters, Vasudha and Janava. He married them both. And after marriage, he moved and settled in Kardaha. So later we'll hear some more about Kardaha, because it's from that place that he traveled and Janava stayed, etc., etc. Here's a photograph of the place where they sat after their wedding. Notice there's a tree, and there's this fence around the tree made of stone, and over on the left, there's this reddish stone-looking structure, and there's a little yellow sign just above it. Here's the yellow sign. This is the shrine where they sat together. Inside the shrine is the imprint of Lord Nityananda's lotus feet. And years ago, the place where the wedding was to have taken place, this deity of Lord Nityananda and his two wives are pictured. Same deity on a different day, dressed differently, and somehow those deities got changed out, and there's a new set of deities. But it's the same. Vasudha and Janava married Lord Nityananda. And the son of Nityananda and Janava was Virabhadra. And Virabhadra made his headquarters in Ekachakra. And that's a nice place to visit. There's a temple of Virabhadra, and nice things to see and hear and understand about that very special place. And Nityananda Vamsa, the descendants of Virabhadra, has a certain notoriety or infamy, you could say either way, that, by seminal line, they're special people. They have this idea. And that's not what Lord Chaitanya taught, nor is it what Lord Nityananda taught, but it's what they teach. So it's a kind of interesting dynamic there. Now, Chaitanya Charitamrita, there's a number of pastimes where Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda had the opportunity for association with Advaita Acharya. Advaita Acharya was a householder, and he liked very much doing what Brahmana householders like to do, and that's feeding Vaishnavas. There's a very nice section, which I'm going to read from. Although there's not much time, I'm going to try to go quickly. Starting with verse 64, I want to read it because the exchange is so sweet. The relationship between Lord Chaitanya and Advaita, the relationship between Lord Nityananda and Advaita, and the relationship between all three of them as they would exchange together. It's just a sample. It's a grain of rice, tells you about the whole pot of rice. Advaita Acharya took Lord Nityananda and Lord Chaitanya within a room. And the two lords saw the arrangement of the prasadam. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was especially very pleased. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu approved of all the methods employed in cooking and offering food to Krishna. Indeed, he was so pleased that he said, "Frankly, I will personally take the lotus feet of anyone who can offer Krishna such nice food and place those lotus feet on my head, birth after birth." When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu entered the room, he saw 3 divisions of food. And he knew that all of these were meant for Krishna. He did not understand the intention of Advaita Acharya. I mean, the 3 lords would take prasadam together, he thought. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, "Let us sit down in these 3 places and we shall take prasadam." However, Advaita Acharya said, "I shall distribute the prasadam." Chaitanya Mahaprabhu thought that all 3 servings were meant for distribution. Therefore, he asked for another 2 banana leaves. Let us have a very little quantity of vegetable and rice, because you're not supposed to leave remnants. So he was going to move some of these big mounds of food, prasadam, take some off, and that would what he was going to eat and leave the rest. Advaita Acharya said, "Just sit down here on these seats." Catching their hands, he sat them both down. Mahaprabhu said, "It's not proper for a sannyasi to eat such a variety of foods. If he does, how can he control his senses?" Advaita Acharya replied, "Please give up your concealment. I know what you are. I know the confidential meaning of your accepting the sannyas order." The Lord replied, "I certainly cannot eat so much food." Advaita Acharya then requested the Lord to simply accept the prasadam without pretense. If he could not eat it all, the balance could be left on the plate. He didn't cooperate. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, "I will not be able to eat so much food. It's not the duty of the sannyasi to leave remnants." Advaita Acharya referred to, he accepted 54 offerings a day in Jagannath Puri. So he ate many hundreds of pots of food. The amount of food that 3 people can eat does not constitute even a morsel for you. In proportion to that, these edibles are not even 5 morsels of food for you. By my great fortune, you have come to my home. Please do not juggle words. Just begin eating and do not talk. Advaita Acharya then gave water. They washed their hands. Nityananda is a different personality. I have undergone fasting for 3 days, continually. Today, I had hoped to break my fast. Although Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was thinking is too much, Nityananda is thinking it's not enough. Although I'm invited to eat by Advaita Acharya, today also is a fast. So small a quantity of food will not even fill half my belly. Advaita Acharya replied, Sir, you are a mendicant traveling on pilgrimage. Sometimes you eat fruits and roots, and sometimes you simply go on fasting. I'm a poor Brahmin, and you've come to my home. Please, be satisfied with whatever little food you have received, and give up your greedy mentality. Nityananda said, whatever I may be, you have invited me, therefore you must supply me as much as I want to eat. Hearing this statement by Advaita Acharya, he took the opportunity to speak to him in a joking way. You are a reject Paramahamsa, and you have accepted the renounced order of life just to fill up your belly. I can understand your business is to give trouble to brahmanas. You can eat 10 to 20 manas of rice. I'm a poor brahmana, how shall I get so much rice? Whatever you have, though it be a palmful of rice, please eat it and get up. Don't show your madness and strew the remnants of food here and there. Jokingly, they were speaking back and forth like this. As soon as half the vegetable in the pot was finished, Advaita Acharya filled it up again. In this way, the Lord finished half of a preparation, and Advaita Acharya again and again filled it up. After filling a pot with vegetables, Advaita Acharya requested him, thank you, eat more. Advaita Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, how much more can I go on eating? Please do not give up whatever I have already given you. Now, whatever I'm giving, you may eat half and leave half. Now, Lord Nityananda, my belly is not yet filled up. Please take away your food. I have not taken the least of it. Saying this, Nityananda Prabhu took a handful of rice and threw it on the floor in front of him, as if he were angry. When 2 or 4 grains of the thrown rice touched his body, Advaita Acharya began to dance. That's what the painting is. In various ways, with the rice still stuck to his body. When the rice thrown by Nityananda Prabhu touched his body, Advaita Acharya thought himself purified by the touch of remnants thrown by Paramahamsa Nityananda. Therefore, he began dancing. Jokingly, Advaita Acharya said, my dear Nityananda, I invited you, and indeed I have received the results. You have no fixed caste or dynasty. By nature, you're a madman. To make me a madman like yourself, you have thrown the remnants of your food at me. You did not even fear the fact that I'm a brahmana. Nityananda replied, these are the remnants of food left by Krishna. If you take them to be ordinary remnants, you have committed an offense. Nityananda Prabhu continued, if you invite at least 100 sannyasis to your home and feed them sumptuously, your offense will be nullified. Advaita Acharya replied, I shall never again invite another sannyasi, for it is a sannyasi who has spoiled all by Brahminical smriti regulations. Etc. That's the grain of rice in the pot to give you an idea of how these lords related with one another. Now, here's a little section about Lord Nityananda. By the way, we're on slide number 60 of 77. This is it's a long story. In itself, it's a wonderful, wonderful story. But Raghunath Das Goswami who was not yet Raghunath Das Goswami, was trying again and again and again and again, and this way, that way, to go away from home. The wealthy Majumdar family didn't want him to go away. They wanted him to stay and enjoy the family wealth. He didn't have any interest in that. And he finally came to the conclusion, if I get the mercy of Lord Nityananda, then I can get the mercy of Lord Chaitanya. And he heard that Lord Nityananda was participating at Panihati. It's a nice place along the bank of the Ganges. So he went to where Lord Nityananda was, and from a distance he paid his obeisances. And then so many funny things Lord Nityananda said, who are you hiding? Get up, come over here. And he put his foot on his head, like as if a punishment. And the Raghunath Das Goswami didn't protest. He understood the nature of Lord Nityananda and made this request. I've tried this, tried that, tried the other thing. Nothing worked. Please give your blessing that I can get Lord Chaitanya's association. And with the blessing of Lord Nityananda, there's details and details, but it happened. And with that, Raghunath Das Goswami was successful in traveling by foot, alone, all the way to Puri, and his father finally accepted the fact that he was going to be with Lord Chaitanya, and that said he didn't want the family wealth and his beautiful wife and everything that went with opulent living, by the mercy of Lord Nityananda. Similarly, by the mercy of Lord Nityananda, Jiva, when Sanatana and Rupa left home, he also wanted to be with them. He wanted to go to Vrindavan. Before he went to Vrindavan, he went to Navadvip to see the places of Lord Chaitanya's pastimes. When he reached Navadvip, from Kardaha, Lord Nityananda knew he was coming. He met him, and the painting is showing, he showed him all around Navadvip. This painting in the back is this temple of Vedic planetarium, a tall temple rising into the sky, and described all of this to him. This is the eternal abode of Lord Chaitanya. And he said, I grant you residence with your two uncles, Rupa and Sanata. Before you go there, you should go take scriptural instruction from Madhusudana Saraswati? Vachaspati, thank you, Vachaspati. Anyway, the mercy of Lord Nityananda gave him the scriptural training and the residence in Vrindavan. And similarly, very beautiful detail where Krishnadas Kaviraj had a vision where similarly Lord Nityananda granted him residence in Vrindavan. Krishnadas, go to Vrindavan and there you'll receive all desirable things. So, very merciful personality. Here's Prabhupada speaking about this merciful nature. Anyone desiring to become expert in the service of Sri Radha and Krishna should always aspire to be under the guidance of Swarup Damodar, Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, Raghunath Das Goswami. This is Ragamarg, by the way. To come under the protection of the Goswamis, one must get the mercy and grace of Nityananda Prabhu. That's a purport from Adi-lila chapter 5. Similarly, from Chaitanya Bhagavat, this is Bhaktisiddhanta's writing, if one actually wants to enter into the dancing party of Radha Krishna, he must firmly catch hold of the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda. So I don't know about all of you, but these are very consistent instructions. which means it's true, we should take it seriously. So if you want the mercy of Krishna, you get the mercy of Radha. To get the mercy of Radha, you get the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. To get the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, you need the mercy of Lord Nityananda. How do you get the mercy of Lord Nityananda? Approach the Jagais and Madhais of the world. Go on Sankirtan. Distribute books. Go and Harinam Sankirtan. Reach out to the Jagais and Madhais of this world. They may hit in the head with a clay pot, or they may do other things. But we do anyways, because we want the mercy of Lord Nityananda, because we want the mercy of Lord Chaitanya, because we want the mercy of Radharani, because we want the mercy of Krishna. So these two lords, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Lord Nityananda, were essential in the Sankirtan movement of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the concluding pastime of Nityananda. He went back to Ekachakra from Kardaha, and he entered the temple of Bankaroy, and he disappeared. Didn't come out. After his departure, there were followers in the line of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. They had a big festival. The celebrated Narottam Das Thakur went back to visit Kituri, and they had intense kirtan. In this intense kirtan, although both Nityananda and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had departed this world, they showed up in the kirtan. And everyone was, who can say, astonished, and a transcendental appearance. Not just in principle know that they're there when there's kirtan, but they show their forms dancing, especially Lord Nityananda dancing and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appreciating his nice dancing. On that occasion, it was such a wonderful festival, Lokanath Goswami decided that 6 deities should be installed in Kituri, one of them being Lord Chaitanya. And there's 5 other sets of deities. Here's one of those 5 sets of deities. Radha Vraja Mohan. Nice deities. So, closing, here's Vrindavan Das Thakur in his composition Nityananda Charitamrita, where he writes in the concluding Adi-lila section, all glories to Lord Nityananda, dearmost associate of Sri Gauranga. No one is equal to you in the 3 worlds. You are the reservoir of transcendental bliss who bestows prema bhakti for Mahaprabhu. Those who serve you achieve pure devotional service. O Lord, you delivered all the fallen souls, forgiving their grave offenses. Sri Krishna Chaitanya and Sri Nityananda are the 2 matchless lords who appeared for the good fortune of this world. Writings of Vrindavan Das Thakur. There's another song we're going to see shortly. Narottam Das Thakur wrote this celebrated Nitai Pada Kamala. Many of you know the song. Who knows the song? Yeah? You want to recite the Bengali for this first line? Go ahead. Just recite. Just go. The lotus feet of Lord Nityananda are a shelter where one will get the soothing moonlight of not only of one, but of millions of moons. If the world wants to have real peace, it should take shelter of Lord Nityananda. Unless one takes shelter under the shade, the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda, it will be very difficult for him to approach Radha Krishna. If one actually wants to enter into the dancing party of Radha Krishna, he must firmly catch hold of the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda, similar to what Bhaktisiddhanta wrote in Chaitanya Bhagavat. And here's another Nityanandastaka by Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur. And there's a photograph of their lotus feet, or the drawings of their lotus feet. And there's supposed to be a recording. Now the setting, let's see if it works. No good? It's just a recording. Let's see if I can get the sound system to work. HDMI to USB. No.
Speaker, real tech.
What?
Real tech.
Real tech. Real tech audio. Okay, let's see what happens.
Sararchandrabhrantim Spuradamalakantim Vajagatim Hari Premonmattam Dhritaparamasattvam Smitamukham Sada Bhurnam Netram Karakalitavetram Kalvidam Bhaje Nityanandam Bhajanatarukamdam Niravadhi Rasanamagaram Svajanagana Sarasvamatulam Tadiyeka prana Pramita vasudha Chadavapatim Sada premonmadam Paramaviditam Mandamanasam Bhaje Nityanandam Bhajanatarukamdam Niravadhi Shachi Sunu Presham Nikhila Jagadishtam Sukhamayam Kalo Majjajivo Dharana Karano Dhamma Karunam Hare Rathyana Bhava Jaladi Garmo Natiharam Bhaje Nityanandam Bhajanatarukamdam Niravadhi Aye Bhadaranam Kalikalushinam Kinno Bhavita Tatha Prayaschittam Rajaya Yadanaya Sataine Vrajanti Tvamitham Saha Bhagavata Mantrayati Yo Bhaje Nityanandam Bhajanatarukamdam Niravadhi Yatheptam Rebhata Guru Hari Hari Dhyanisham ततो वः संसारादुधितरणदायो मयि लगे इदं बाहुस्फोटैरटति रटयन् यः प्रतिगृहम् भजे नित्यानन्दं भजनतरुकन्दं निरवधि बलात् संसाराम्भो निधिहरणकुम्भोद्भवमहो सतां श्रेयसिन्धून्नतिकुमुदबन्धुं समुदितम् खलश्रेणीस्फूर्य तिमिरहरसूर्यप्रभमहम् भजे नित्यानन्दं भजनतरुकन्दं निरवधि नटन्तं गायन्तं हरिमनुवदन्तं पथि पथि व्रजन्तं पश्यन्तं स्वमपि न दयन्तं जनगणम् प्रकुर्वन्तं सन्तं सकरुणदृगन्तं प्रकलनात् भजे नित्यानन्दं भजनतरुकन्दं निरवधि सुबिभ्राणं भ्रातुः करसरसिजं कोमलतरम् मिथो वक्त्रालोकोच्छलितपरमानन्दहृदयम् भ्रमन्तं माधुर्यैरहमदयन्तं पुरजनान् भजे नित्यानन्दं भजनतरुकन्दं निरवधि रसानामाधारं रसिकवरसद्वैष्णवधनं रसागारं सारं पतितततितारं स्मरणतः परं नित्यानन्दाष्टकमिदमपूर्वं पठति यस् तदङ्घ्रिद्वन्द्वाब्जं स्फुरतु नितरां तस्य हृदये तदङ्घ्रिद्वन्द्वाब्जं स्फुरतु नितरां तस्य हृदये
Very sweet. Vrindavan Das Thakur, great acharya and author. Almost done. This is deities that Prabhupada established when visiting in Caracas in February 1975. They spelled Nitai a little differently than we normally do. Karuna Gora Nitai. And shortly after his visit to Caracas, Prabhupada visited Atlanta and installed deities of Gaur Nitai in Atlanta. That's the new Panihati Dham, the name of the Atlanta temple. And here's a short recording of Prabhupada on the occasion of this deity installation. And I hope it works. Very short.
So, I am very glad to see you, and I am coming First of all, Mexico City.
Yes.
So Mexico City, then Caracas, then yeah. I see your temple is the best. So, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is very kind. Parama Purana Pahudrijana, two lords, Nitai Gaura Chandra, Nityananda Prabhu and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
He gets emotional. Yes.
They are very kind. They appear just to reclaim the fallen souls from this age. So, they are more kind than Krishna. Krishna is also very kind. He comes to deliver, but Krishna demands the first of all surrender. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu does not demand surrender. He's so kind. So, take shelter of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and be happy. Thank you.
We can get a picture of the heart of our founder Acharya from that little recording. He was carrying out their instructions and giving to everyone, not always showing that same emotion, but when meditating on their mercifulness, unconditional mercifulness, he became a little overwhelmed. So that's our discussion for Nityananda Ram. And it's only 8 o'clock. Not bad. So any discussion? You're all stunned from hearing the glories of Lord Nityananda, I can tell.
What's this that the Prabhupada said at the end? It wasn't clear.
He was just expressing that their mercifulness. Krishna required, they didn't require. They gave the mercy. Krishna's merciful also, but they gave the mercy unconditionally. As he was doing, that Prabhupada as their representative was doing. Anything else? All the way over there, wow.
We've heard of statements from Veda, Upanishads and other scriptures about Lord Chaitanya's identity as the Supreme Lord. Are there such verses about Lord Nityananda too?
Nothing comes to mind. I mean, the two lords go together, but your question is specific. And reference from the Upanishads about Lord Nityananda, I'm not aware if there are or not. Okay?
Maharaj, in the previous expansions or forms of Lord Nityananda, as Lord Balaram and Lakshman, they are generally more strict. They seem to be, stronger or more strict in nature than Krishna or Lord Ram. Is there any specific pastime or reason why in this In this form, Lord Nityananda becomes even more merciful than Lord Chaitanya.
Well, you say more merciful than, but he's the bearer of Lord Chaitanya's mercy. So the more merciful than is the part that's got me. He's the carrier, the instrument of that mercy. And he's particularly kind, just like, I mean, in the Jagai Madhai Lila, Lord Chaitanya was ready to chop Jagai Madhai because they had offended Lord Nityananda, but Lord Nityananda persuaded Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to don't chop them because you came to deliver, and please deliver. So he did, on a condition. You beg forgiveness from Lord Nityananda and never do these things again. So it's just part of the mercifulness of Lord Chaitanya exhibited by his representative, the Guru Tattva representative, showing the mercy of the person who he's representing. How's that? Is all right?
As a follow-up to that, you had mentioned about Lord Nityananda being Guru Tattva, and that's a very, very difficult and deep subject. We say that therefore Guru is one. You know, so many spiritual masters, if they're bona fide, they are all representing him. I guess I was just thinking that is there, on one hand they're one, in another way they may be also different. So is there any, further comment you may have on that?
Oh gosh. It is said amongst Gaudiya Vaishnavas, there are two topics that are most difficult: Guru Tattva and Shiva Tattva. And you picked one of the two. And the oneness is in terms of simply repeating or being in 10% alignment with and having no other interest. I mean, so much is said in Ramayana, for example, more so than in the 10th canto Bhagavatam or Krishna book, about Balaram being Adi Guru is there in Chaitanya Charitamrita. But in Ramayana, it's so strong. This a little bit of go off. He, Lakshman, or the Guru Tattva principle, is representing Sheshatvam, or Shesha, the quality of Shesha. And I had some discussion just today with Nityananda Pran, because he had done some research on the topic of Shesha. It means one who has no other interest than the Sheshi. And that's Lakshman. No other interest than Ramchandra. No other interest. No other interest. And so that's Guru Tattva. So there's diversity, or plurality, amongst those who are bearing that tattva, that capacity. So there's personalities that differ the way that they say things, do things. But the principle is no other interest. And to the degree to which that is there, that's the Guru Tattva principle that's transparently manifest through different persons that manifest it in different ways. And those different ways, or the principle of Guru Tattva, one of the reasons that it's so most difficult as it defies intellect. By reason and logic, you can't enter into that arena. It's like, this whole, it's so many, the whole thing of Christ being the principle of Guru Tattva. And then you can go the other direction and say, Christ is God. It's this Guru Tattva principle, because transparently representing the one Supreme, and therefore, as the representative, as good as, but different. And any tradition that is representing the Supreme Person has Guru Tattva representing, and is manifest differently. And the essence is, there's no other interest. And when there's other interest, then that's not Guru. Your question specific was the diversity part. But diversity is natural in the spiritual world. The oneness is there and the diversity is there. Because the oneness is the oneness in principle. And the personalities will reflect or exhibit that principle in different ways, because their personalities are different. But there's one thing that's in common for all, representing this Guru Tattva principle. And the Sheshi is the only place of interest of the Shesha. That's by dictionary definition or Sanskrit definition. If you like, I can send you that little document that Nityananda Pran composed, and I added some things, and so it's just expanding your question. Unity and diversity principle. Anything? Kirtan. Locked in. Over here, anything? Yes.
In Ramayana, the segment where Sugriva, when the first time he meets Ram and Lakshman, we hear how, Rama tells him that, you go with Vali, you fight with him, but then he gets beaten up and he comes back.
Yes.
And then he has the opportunity to put a garland around Lakshmana. Garland was put on Sugriva, I think, from Lakshmana.
No. Sugriva was to give a garland to Lakshmana. No, Lakshmana gave the garland to Sugriva.
Right. And so where I'm going with the question is, like, the first time he did not respect Lakshmana, he was not given a seat. And so we hear that, he approached the Lord directly instead of also respecting Lakshman, who is Guru.
Right.
In Chaitanya Lila, are there any pastimes where Lord Chaitanya is instructing through any action that Nityananda Ram is representing?
Well, the Jagai Madhai story, but the very first arrival of Nityananda in Navadvip was Guru Puja. There wasn't an opportunity to do something else because he wanted everyone to see like that. I mean, there's other pastimes, but it's not, anyway, I didn't do all of the pastimes. The crow and Malini, and she was feeding Nityananda like a little boy, and there was a crow that was perched on a windowsill, and he flew away with the Ashman cup. And she started to cry, "Oh, my husband's Ashman cup," and he ordered the crow, "Bring the Ashman cup back." And he brought the cup back. It's just different pastimes. It's not on the topic that you're asking. Okay? Yes.
Kamaraj, on the point that the price to pay to receive the holy name from Lord Nityananda is Shraddha. So it seems he gives the holy name even to those that don't seem to exhibit any faith, such as Jagai and Madhai. However, to really receive the fullness of the gift of the holy name, one has to.
Well, yes. But by the Lila, he induced faith. Because what he wanted, I mean, the pastime is described, he was meditating, these two fellows are so out of it. If Lord Chaitanya can deliver them, everyone will understand the glory of Lord Chaitanya. Let's go deliver them. Haridas, no, they're madmen. Let's go. So, the faith was induced by that gesture, much like, in disciplic succession, great personalities that perform service unto Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took many, many, many risks, and they gave in such a way that faith was increased. The price was extracted in a tricky way, you could say, or indirectly. What do you think? Is that the right answer? Huh?
If they have no faith, how to accept?
Yeah. They can't say yes. They may say no, but they can't say yes. But to say yes, there has to be some faith. Many people that we also engage, what do they know? Just a little sharing and I'm going to end. One of the activities that's being planned, out of the many other activities that are being planned, is a retreat for the university students in Texas. There's a number of universities that the devotees do outreach in. So there's a plan to have a weekend university retreat, university student retreat. And there's one devotee that's been asked to do the segment of that retreat that's related to kirtan. So he's done the warm-up session that's a half an hour of all things that are sound-related and cymatics and this and that, and sound is powerful, and then spiritual sound is especially powerful, and then kirtan. So the idea is to get people that don't have faith to have at least enough faith that they can chant with some faith. Maybe there's something to it. So there are different ways that we go about trying to bring people to the place of faith when chanting. But part of the faith when chanting is just chanting. People don't expect, but suddenly something happens. Right? Our kirtan advocate up here. Srila Prabhupada ki, Nityananda Ram ki, Jai.